I think the lead story of the day is the continuing noise out of the New York Jets. And in typical Jets fashion, here we are covering a team that sucks. It's not a good football team. Now, can you say that not having Aaron Rodgers has forever derailed this team's playoff chances? That's fair. But based upon their play, 12 games in the season, that's not a good football team. It's not even close to a good football team. And as much as we want to say not having Aaron Rodgers, how would Aaron Rodgers have played behind that patchwork offensive line? Speaking of that offensive line or the turnstile that is the quarterback position, if you've been stuck under a rock, maybe you didn't know, Zach Wilson's going to be back starting as quarterback, but that's not after 24 weird hours where we were told that they wanted him to start back at quarterback, but then he wasn't sure if he wanted to take the reins. Then there was the weird press conference from Robert Saleh, who said if he didn't want to play quarterback, he wouldn't be on the roster. Then he went on local radio and sort of walked people through the idea that, well, maybe there was some hesitance. And then we have Aaron Rodgers speaking out about it to Pat McAfee yesterday. It's a lot. I know we all think you're supposed to sit there and just wait for your opportunity. That thing comes. You don't care. I'm all in. But we're led to believe by people around the Jets that this is some bogus story when, one, the reporters have stood by the reporting, and two, it all makes a lot of sense. Why would anybody say that about Zach Wilson? Well, remember last year this time, Pat White, his backup, had taken over, and he had such support in the locker room. Mike White, sorry. Pat White's another former quarterback, West Virginia. Remember him? Mike White got such support from his teammates that they were actually wearing Mike White shirts walking into the stadium. Like, I'd never seen anything like it. Like, it wasn't behind anybody's back. It wasn't like a coup d'etat. It wasn't like something that was done under cover of darkness. And who said that? You had New York Jets players, no facial coverings, no COVID masks, nothing. Just walking in wearing their quarterback shirt, who just so happened to be the backup quarterback. Then Aaron Rodgers comes aboard. He gets hurt 4 plays in. Zach Wilson's the quarterback. Everybody gives their support to him, even though he's not particularly good. Right? There's nothing. I mean, he has a decent game. You're like, oh my God, so much better. Then he gets benched, not just benched, but moved from first string to third string. Doesn't take any reps. And then we're not supposed to believe that when they named him starting quarterback like 2 weeks later, that he wasn't like, what's going on here? Here's Robert Saleh, his head coach, earlier today.
Zach gives us our best chance to win, and giving him another opportunity to go prove that.
How did that conversation go when you told him?
He was good. He's fired up. Like I said on Monday, he came into my office. He wants the ball, and he's excited about getting this opportunity to finish the season strong. I've always believed he was the best quarterback in terms of giving us a chance to win. Tim and Trevor trying to spark the offense and all that, and those two are very talented quarterbacks. Don't get me wrong, but in my opinion, Zach gives us the best chance to win.
Okay. I think that's fair. I mean, it's all relative. He gives us the best chance to win considering who we actually have. Right? Considering who we actually have. Here's Aaron Rodgers on the Pat McAfee show yesterday.
When you use sources and try to assassinate someone's character like that report does for Zach, I have a real hard time with that. I mean, you're basically saying that this kid is quitting on the team and doesn't want to play and has given the middle finger to the organization. What is your impetus? What is your motivation to try and bury someone like that? And that's a problem with the organization. We need to get to the bottom of whatever this is coming from and put a stop to it privately, because there's no place in a winning culture where, and this is not the only time, there's been a bunch of other leaks. I think it's at its core, and I think it has no place in a winning organization to be a source on it, especially not if you're going to assassinate somebody's character, and especially not when it's someone that I really love and care about, like Zach Wilson.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Aaron is showing his full and undivided support for Zach Wilson. That's clearly noted. Okay, we got it. We understand. But what we have to explain, make sure we explain to people, is let's not attack the reporters for getting sources or even unnamed sources. That's how reporting works. Okay. And look, there is a notable moment in my career where I really trusted an unnamed source, okay, and got burned a little bit by it. And I had a secondary source that they weren't unified. It wasn't the same discussion. It was something else. And again, got burned by it. But that's kind of your job, is to gather information, and you can't out those people. Like Deep Throat is a historically significant figure in the Watergate. We never knew who Deep Throat was. We can only guess who it actually was. But no one back then said, well, who's your unnamed source? They tried that, didn't work. You don't name your sources. And sources don't have to be named, don't have to name themselves. I think what Aaron Rodgers is talking about is like, look, what are we doing here? Why are we sharing our business? There is no positive outcome from sharing any negative stories with anybody. And what he's saying is accurate. The best cultures, they don't have this. They just don't. But that's what the Jets are. It's one of the reasons the Jets have been a dumpster fire, is you have all these conflicting people, conflicting alliances, and people trying to make curry favor with different people, and that's how this stuff gets out. But I mean, to Aaron Rodgers, you don't remember Mike White last year? You don't remember the teammates completely moving on from Zach Wilson and Zach Wilson's act? I understand what he's saying, and he's not wrong, but he's also captaining the New York Jets. This is what the Jets do. This is who the Jets are. They can't help themselves.